YouTube, long time no see. Basically what's happened is, as I said in my last video, I've moved and it took ages to sort out the internet and stuff. Yeah, so this is not going to be my permanent setting. I don't yet have a bookshelf, so I didn't have a booky background, so I thought this would do for today. I'm basically just going to do a quick video to say what I've been reading, and hi again, missed you all. Right, so there's not many books here considering how long it's been. I've been pretty poor with reading recently. The first book I read, and I read this before I moved and loved it, was Caitlin Moran's How to Be a Woman. Someone said that it's pronounced Caitlin, but I'm going to say Caitlin because that seems the safest thing. Basically, this is a kind of memoir about her growing up and her realisation of feminism and stuff like that. Now, I've never read a feminist text before, and it's not something that interests me, but having read this, it is really interesting. It's like little things like I didn't know that legally men can be paid more than women and stuff like that still in this day and age, and it's shocking, and it's just really funny. Like, there's stuff in there that's just like, oh, too funny, like, about growing up and being a woman. I really liked this. I want to read her next book, which I believe is How to Make a Girl, I think, or How to Build a Girl. So yeah, I will be getting on to that. It's just a really funny, light read, and I would definitely recommend it for any girl, basically. Just, even if you're not interested in feminism, like, that is a big part of it, but there's other stuff, you know, there's other stuff in there. Then I went on to Sarah Waters' Fingersmith. Now, I started this before we moved and was reading it during our move, and I really think I regret that. It is a thick book and it's really good, and the bit I read before we moved I absolutely loved. It's basically set in, let me check, 1862. We follow a girl called Sue Tinder who, she sort of lives in the, like, Oliver Twist kind of aspect of London where they're sort of swindlers and thieves and lower end of society, and she goes to swindle a rich girl by pretending to be her maid and convincing her to run away with this man who was going to marry her and take her money. And there's not much I can say about this without giving it away, but it is a book of twists that you just do not see coming, and it is really good. I ruined it for myself because I read it at a time when I couldn't really concentrate on it, and as much as I loved the first half, it did get draggy for me towards the end, but it's it keeps you on the edge of your seat. It really does. You just do not see stuff coming, like what you just don't know who's what. Read it. I would. So then I read Patrick Ness's The Ask and the Answer. I was thinking about this before I started filming. I can't really remember my opinion on this. I believe I liked it better than I liked the first one. I don't think I need to say much about this because everybody knows. Basically, this is set in a world where it's like an alternative world where, well, in the first book, all the women have disappeared, died from a virus. All the men can hear each other's thoughts because of this virus. It doesn't kill them, but it means that they can hear each other's thoughts all the time. And then Todd Hewitt, our main character, who is the only boy left, because obviously no children are being born anymore, women have gone, finds a spot of silence, and a journey begins of a whole new world that he didn't know existed, sort of thing. And this is obviously following on from that situation, so I won't say too much about it. I enjoyed it more. I felt like the characters grew more to me. There was more depth to it, because I really wanted to like the first one. I didn't hate it, but it was just a little bit of a disappointment to me, because the concept sounds really, really good, and it didn't live up to my expectation. This one was better, possibly because I expected less from it, I don't know. But yeah, I hate doing reviews on, like, second books, because I can't tell you. It'll ruin it. It'll ruin it. Although most of you have probably already read that, so you know. Then I read, this was naughty, I bought it and read it straight away, skipped all my to-be-read books. Whoops. It is Us by David Nichols. I'm sure a lot of people have seen this about. It is a beautifully produced book it's a hardcover with no sort of slip, which I like, and yeah, it's just pretty funky book. Then David Nicholls, obviously the author of One Day, which I read and really enjoyed. Us, now, this is one book actually that I read at just the right time, I think. I don't think it's an amazing book, but I just read it at a time in my life where it was absolutely perfect. Basically, this is about, what was his name? Douglas Peterson, and his son Archie, I think it was Archie. Forgetting all the names. This is how long ago I read all these books. Their son doesn't actually say on the end, so I'm just going to call him Archie for now. Their son decides that he's going to university, and they go on like this big family holiday as their last one. However, just before they go on this family holiday, Douglas's wife announces that she's going to be leaving him at the end of the holiday, and as soon as the son leaves home, so he has to deal with not only losing his son but losing his wife. And it's a very interesting book. Obviously it's a bit awkward, they're all going on holiday together, and it's very interesting to watch the dynamics of them and how they relate to each other, especially the father-son relationship in this is really interesting. It's a really honest portrayal of how I think a lot of father-son relationships are about it, and I just really enjoyed this. It was really good, and it's also, you get flashbacks of sort of his wife and his getting together, because they're very different people. She's quite artistic and crazy, and he's a very straight-cut person, and I think in the beginning that may be what attracted her to him, but towards the end that is what pulled them apart, basically. It was just really enjoyable, really good, easy read, and I liked it. I won't say it's the most amazing, but I liked it. Then I read Oryx Crake by Margaret Atwood. I have already read The Year of the Flood, which is kind of a bummer. I didn't realise that there was one before it when I read it. And there's also Mad Adam after The Year of the Flood. So I might reread The Year of the Flood having read this. Then it might make more sense to me. I did think it was a bit out there when I read it, not gonna lie. This is really good. It's like a alternative world. I wouldn't say dystopian necessarily. I think she calls it speculative fiction. So it's stuff that could potentially happen, but it's not necessarily dystopian because it's not necessarily close enough to our world to warrant being dystopian. Basically, we follow in this a character called Jimmy, or Snowman, as he is now known in this future world, and basically the world has gone a bit skew-with. As far as we know, he's the only human, and he is with these figures that are called Crakers, and he has created a god for them, Oryx Crake, who we soon learn are people he knew before the world went skew-with, and he basically just lives with these Crakers. He doesn't know whether there's anybody else out there, and every now and again he has to go out and hunt for food and stuff, and like in this world there's like raccoons mixed with skunks and like weird things, and I can't remember what the pigs are called. They're pigs mixed with something, but they're not good. They sort of hunt you out, and yeah, blah 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 blah. See, I feel like I can't form coherent reviews of these books. I read them too long ago. But it's good. I think I definitely would have understood The Year of the Flood more if I'd read this first. The only thing I would say is, I mean, I say the world goes skew-with, and there is a reason for the world having gone skew-with this time, but even in the flashbacks of before the world goes skew-with, the world is skew-with, and I don't feel like that's fully explained. Like, why has the world become this way? I don't know. I suppose that's maybe because I'm going at it from a dystopian point of view. You know, how did this happen? Maybe that is just the world. But I kind of felt like I needed an explanation. Like, Jimmy and Crake grew up in a compound where they're sort of kept safe, and you know, all the rich people live, and then there's the sort of plebeians, which are where all the poor people live, and they're dangerous, and you know, blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's definitely worth a read. It's good because it's not like all the others. Do you know what I mean? It's worth a read. I can't remember. I should have made notes about these books. I just didn't realise that it was going to take so long for the internet to get sorted. And now, at the moment, I am reading Moby Dick and struggling with it. I've been reading it for over a week now. Mixed views about this one. I'm going to do a separate review because I feel like there's lots to say. Very heavy read, but kind of good as well. I just don't know. I don't know. So I'm hoping I'm going to rinse that today, finish it, and move on. Yeah. Bye. Nice to see you again. I will be pre-recording a lot of videos probably and getting them out to you, because as well as not having internet, time has been an issue. I mean, if I'm honest, I've had internet for about a week now, and yeah, just time, life. But I'm on a holiday this week, so I will be pre-recording and you will be seeing. Goodbye.